UFC Vegas 103, Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev just ended. And this is going to be a borderline post-fight for that card. But in reality, we're going to talk about the main event because Mike Beltran deserves to be fired after that horrific performance in the main event where Manel Kape was able to get a third-round TKO via eye poke, via double eye poke, Chris Weidman style. Now, I know people are already going to be up in arms. Joey, what are you talking about? That's just simply not true. Well, luckily, since the fights ended a little while ago, I've took it upon myself to pull all the pertinent clips in slow motion, and we're going to try to go through them in this video without getting copyrighted. And just, little spoiler alert, because we're going to get to this in a second. We're going to go through the card as a whole for a second. This isn't the first time this has happened. Kape also won against Bruno Silva via a groin shot, which I also have slowed down. And these are indisputable, okay? You cannot argue to the contrary. It is all fact. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the card for a second, okay? I'm not going to spend that much time going through this card. So we're going to go through lightning fast the entire card, essentially. Charles Johnson lose to Ramzan Tamirov. Tamirov gassed in the third round. First two rounds was landing the bigger shots. Andre Ali, JJ Aldridge. Ew. I'm not even clicking on them. That's how much I hate this card. Okay? Didn't do a stream. Didn't do predictions. Ain't doing a real post-fight. Had some other stuff going on in life. I'm hoping to get back to normal content for UFC 313. Okay? Just so you guys know. We have Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. Close fight. Back and forth fight. Danny Silva gets a split decision win. Who gives a shit? Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. Actually, really solid fight. Chepe Mariscal just way better. Landing the bigger shots. There were some grappling exchanges. There were some leg entanglements. Ramos had some moments, but really it was just Chepe walking him down, beating the dog shit out of him. Next fight, Austin Lane, Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto brutally KOs Austin Lane in the second round. Not much to say about that. I'm literally going through, the heavyweight's horrible. What do you want me to say, guys? This card makes me want to not watch the fucking sport anymore. But let's continue. Just for your guys' amusement. Danny Barlow, Sam Patterson. Danny Barlow is actually looking good. By the way, I didn't actually do predictions, but I didn't lock in picks on Tapology that I can show you, so it doesn't matter. But up until Danny Barlow, Sam Patterson, my general picks, I thought I would have had a sweep at this point. I wasn't 100% decided on Charles Johnson, Ramazan, but again, I didn't do official picks for this card because I had other stuff going on. But I was like, oh, you know what? I might, I would have had really good. I was starting to get annoyed because I was going to have really good picks had I made my picks. And then Danny Barlow gets brutally slapped by Sam Patterson, gets overconfident, lands some big shots. Sam Patterson lands a counter shot that hurts him, walks him down, slumps him out in the first round. Crazy win for Sam Patterson. Then the next fight, Hyder Emil, William Gomez. I would have had Gomez in this fight for sure. Hyder Emil wins via split decision. I thought it was a razor close fight. Basically, Hyder Emil just walks forward, no technique, trying to drain his opponent. William Gomez was landing some good shots. I would have gave the first two rounds to William Gomez, third round to Hyder Emil. And the commentary team was a bit biased. They were acting like Emil was landing shots that he wasn't. But Emil's cardio and pressure was just unbelievable. And that's basically what won him the fight, was the optics of the pressure. Next fight, Nasrat Haqparast versus Esteban Ribovics. Esteban Ribovics, I think a lot of people thought he won. Third round looked incredible. Landed a nasty knee. Landed a head kick at the end of the third round that would have probably put Nasrat away if he had another 20 seconds. But Nasrat looked good in the first two rounds. Second round was up for debate. But Nasrat's boxing was just crisper, and Esteban Ribovics was having trouble finding the mark. I don't hate the decision. There were some people saying robbery. I thought you could give the first two rounds to Nasrat Haqparast. Again, not going to spend too much time on these fights. I want to get to the main event. Cody Bumditch versus Julian Marquez. I was probably going Marquez in this fight. And both of them looked terrible. Both of them were slinging back and forth. Marquez hurts Cody Bumditch. They start slinging down. They're both landing big shots. They eventually both lose their mouthpieces. It seemed like Marquez is out ahead, about to put Cody away. Mark Smith stops it to give them both their mouthpieces back. Cody Bumditch lands an uppercut and puts Marquez away soon thereafter. Cody Bumditch gets a first round KO. Apparently it was the last fight on his contract. Hopefully it stays the last fight. I don't want him to get re-signed. Do not want him to get re-signed. Main event, okay? This is lightning fast post-fight. We're going to get into some slow-mos here in a second for the main event. Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. Manel Kape has now won 2 controversial fights in a row. And because the UFC needs a title contender, they're pushing Manel Kape propaganda. But you combine that with the fact that there is a subset of the fan base solely cheering for Manel Kape because he said a homophobic slur. Very, very bizarre that he has a fan base just solely based on that. He is a fun fighter to watch. Now, he was winning this fight. I would have gave him all 3 rounds regardless. He cheated so much throughout this fight, and the literal stoppage was him cheating. And by the way, Mike Beltran deserves to be fired. Stoppage was atrocious. The adjudication of the fouls was absolutely atrocious. We're going to get into that in a second. This fight was not a blowout. Kape was out striking him. Almabayev was kind of circling around, occasionally shooting on a takedown. Second round, and again, we're going to go through this with actual slow-mo replays in a second. In the second round, Asu Almabayev gets eye poked by Manel Kape. It's like a swipe at the eye. Asu calls timeout. Manel Kape's like wagging his finger about to go after him. Mike Beltran jumps in, calls time. Apparently, the review official says it was clean, so Mike Beltran says, you got to fight, and starts it back up. Of course, Manel Kape immediately starts going after him heavily. End of the round, they show the replay. It was a clear swipe at the eye. We're going to look at that in a second. Then in the third round, Manel Kape double eye pokes Asu Almabayev. Almabayev shoots it, tries to call timeout. Mike Beltran doesn't do anything. Then he shoots a takedown, kind of sits in like a failed takedown attempt for a little bit, gets back up and starts turning away and kind of running away from Manel Kape. And essentially Beltran just stops it because he's running away after a double eye poke that Beltran apparently did not catch. And then the UFC acts, the commentary team acts like this was some amazing performance from Manel Kape. It's just crazy to me. He wasn't even blowing him out of the water. The entire fight, there was multiple potential other eye pokes where he's literally going like this the entire fight. The entire fight. And we're going to get to the Henry Cejudo comparison because I know a lot of people are going to say, Joey, what are you talking about? You were saying last week Henry quit. Henry did quit. That has nothing to do with the fact that Beltran didn't even acknowledge the fouls. When he did acknowledge it, then he said, never mind. And then the stoppage was absolutely atrocious. So let's get right into it. The first thing I'm going to show you is the slow-mo of the eye swipe in the second round. This was stopped, and then Mike Beltran told him to continue, okay? This was the eye swipe that you only saw for a brief second on the broadcast. Watch this. You'll see his hand is clearly open here. Watch his hand. See, it's clearly open here. And look, he just swats at the eye right there. Now, you can't see for 100% definitively that the finger went in the eye, but the hand was open, the fingers were near the eye, and Asu Almabayev immediately reacts, okay? Immediate reacts. Watch. Reacts right here. Look. Immediately reacts. Now, there was damage done to the eye prior to that via punches. Manel Kape was winning. He was landing in the striking exchanges. Now, in the next clip I'm going to show you is, okay, well, actually, this I have the rest of kind of where they stop it, but then they continue it here in a second. I don't want to play too much because I don't want to get a copyright strike here. Manel Kape then goes after him here. We're not going to play that anymore. Let me show you the stoppage, okay? And I can't show you all of it. Again, I don't want to get copyright. This is where Beltran decides to step in. Now, for full context, Asu Almabayev has turned away and ran away because he's trying to recover after a brutal double eye poke. But this is where Beltran decides to step in. Look at this. Asu's in on a double leg takedown. And watch this. Look at this. Have you ever seen a worse stoppage in your entire... For all I know, he's stopping it in favor of Asu Almabayev for TKO win Asu. Look at this. I mean, damn, dude's hitting him in the doggy... If you are stopping a fight in the doggy style position of the losing fighter, we have issues, Mike Beltran. Horrible ref. Mike Beltran is atrocious. This is a horrific stoppage. He should have allowed it to continue. He also, if he was going to stop it here, he should have had the eye pokes reviewed. Because the eye pokes were a complete and utter abomination, which you'll see in a second. By the way, look, people are going to celebrate this like it was a great win. Look at that stoppage. It was a horrible stoppage. Now we're going to see the eye pokes, okay? I'm going to fast forward here. First off, there's multiple fouls. And I don't know for 100% certainty. I don't think you're allowed to grab the cage under any circumstances. Manel Kape grabs the cage here to keep his balance to eye poke Asu Almabayev here. Watch this. This is a clear as day eye poke here. Okay, watch this. Look. Okay, and it's not, this is right before the finish, okay? This is right before the sequence that led to the finish. Again, there was already damage to the left eye of Asu Almabayev because of punches, but now this is multiple eye pokes as well. And you get a double eye poke here. Watch this. Look at that. Look at this. And this rakes across the eye. This rakes across the eye. Let me rewind this a little bit. And this seems intentional in my opinion. This seems intentional in my opinion. Look at this. And watch. It rakes across the eye there. I hate to rewind it. I know there's going to be someone complaining here. But look at this. It rakes across the eye here. Boom. You see the eyelid flap up. But that's not it. He pulls a Chris Weidman, bitch-ass Chris Weidman, and he goes for the two-piece. Watch this right hand. This seems completely intentional here. Watch this. Okay? Now, that might have been hard to see, so I'm going to rewind it, and I'm going to slow it down even more. Okay? Playback speed. Let's go 20.25. Let's see if you can get a better view of it here. Okay? So there you see the eye rake. Okay? That's clear as day in the eyelid. Okay, I'm not going to rewind it. I already showed you many times. Now, watch this. It's the fist coming forward, right? Look at this. By the way, he did this the entirety of the fight. The entirety of the fight. Go back and rewatch the fight. I didn't want to get copyright because I knew the UFC is like real stringent, especially right after a fight. I could have put together probably a 5-minute edit of him just going like this the entire fight. Okay. And again, we're going to talk about the Henry Cejudo thing. And we're also going to show you that this isn't the first time Manel Kape has done this. Watch this two-piece. Look at this. I'm going to pause it right there. Does this get any more egregious here? And then watch. Right in the eye. I'm going to rewind that again for the people who are going to say, no, Joey. No, Joe. You know what? Matter of fact, let me do one better. Let me zoom in even more for you. Look at this. Watch this. You're telling me that wasn't intentional? You're telling me that wasn't intentional? Bare minimum. Okay, here's the first one. I'm going to show you it all in back to back. Rapid succession. Boom. And then the finish happens. Absolute insanity here. Absolute insanity here. Now let me see if I can fix this real quick. Because now I got to show you another time that this has happened. So Beltran didn't do nothing but stop the fight. So after these two eye pokes, he says, you know what? Let me doggy style him and wave off the fight as a TKO. And again, you had this initial eye poke as well. Okay, and there was probably other eye pokes. There were some that were questionable that I did not go through and record because it would take way too much time, and also I would get probably copyright. I might already get copyright on this video. I might have to redo it. The Bruno Silva fight, the previous fight, this was a TKO due to a groin shot. I don't care that he was winning. Okay, he was winning. He was winning this fight clear as day. That doesn't change the fact this was a TKO due to a groin shot. Let me make sure I have this slowed down. I already have this slowed down. Right here, initially, as soon as I start this video, you're going to see a groin shot. Now, keep in mind, Bruno Silva, super durable, would have made it to decision most likely. Watch this groin shot. Watch right here. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I must have played it right before I started the video, and then I didn't rewind it. So watch this again, because you've seen him grab his groin there, but you didn't see the kick. Watch this kick right to the groin. Ready? Here's his leg. I'm pausing this for copyright reason, guys. Don't complain. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Right in the balls. Okay? Victor Henry style. Okay? Victor Henry's balls. And then look. Immediately reacts. And then Manel Kape goes after him. And then I'm not going to play anymore. Look at this. He's covering up after he gets a groin shot. Keith Peterson's like yelling to him. He was trying to tell him I was kicked in the balls here. And Keith Peterson's like, keep fighting. So for some reason, when Manel Kape commits egregious fouls, the fight's just allowed to continue via TKO. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So again, we're going to rewind this back one more time. Praying I don't get copyright. Look, clear groin shot right there. Clear as day. Immediately reacting to it. Oh, hold on. Just in case that wasn't not on screen. Sorry, boys. That might have not been on screen that whole time because I had to adjust it earlier. Let me just show you this one more time just in case. Watch this. Ready? Clear groin shot here. Boom. And then watch. Immediately react to it. Look. Damn it. I didn't get it in the right spot. Hold on. Let me see. He's grabbing his groin right there. And then it immediately leads to a TKO stoppage. It's egregious. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. And now we have another It's back-to-back controversial stoppages by Manel Kape that it seems like nobody's talking about. And I understand some of this could have been accidental. The groin shot could have been accidental. That was, that wasn't the most accidental looking groin shot, but some of it could have been accidental. The eye pokes, especially the double eye poke, literally looked intentional. But forget about Manel Kape for a second. Where is Mike Beltran? And if you want to compare to Henry Cejudo, the Henry Cejudo comparison is kind of weird, because if you want to say Song Yadong should have had a point deducted, I am sympathetic to that argument. Henry Cejudo decided to say he could continue, but he really wanted out because he knew he was losing the fight. Kape was winning this fight. Asu never quit, okay? It was a horrible Mike Beltran officiating performance, and then he stops the fight in literal doggy style position. I can't get over this. Dude's in doggy style, but dude's riding him like a fucking horse. And he stops the fight after an egregious double eye poke, and then nobody even wants to talk about it. Look how bad this is. Look how bad. This is a 1-2. This is a Chris Weidman special right here. That is a Chris Weidman special right there. And then I'm just going to fast forward because I don't want the... And then right afterwards, by the way, I don't even know if I mentioned this. Sorry if it's a little bit all over the place here. I'm trying not to get copyright here. I said copyright so many times in this video. Watch this. He tries to call a timeout here. See? He tries to tell him. He tries to tell Beltran, I'm not going to play anymore. He tries to tell Beltran he was double eye poked. Beltran doesn't give a shit. He's too busy thinking about respect my authority. Egregious win from Manel Kape. This is not the same as Henry Cejudo. And also in general, whether it's Henry Cejudo, Song Yadong, whether it's Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev, why aren't the referees taking points? Is it their job? How many times have I said this for literal years at this point? Is it their job to enforce the rules, or is it their job to shout the rules at the fighters and never do anything about when a rule is broken? At this point, eye pokes are legal. At this point, eye pokes are legal. Why not do them? Why not do them? Literally, Kape did this the entire fight. And what really drives me nuts is the UFC propaganda machine is pushing this guy as the next title challenger. He hasn't beaten anyone good. Asu Almabayev's not that good. Asu Almabayev, I believe, came in on short notice as well. Not super short notice. And people are acting like this was some amazing performance where he landed a couple punches and about 17 eye pokes to get a horrible TKO stoppage because Mike Beltran doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Mike Beltran's a dumb fuck. Fire him immediately. Egregious, horrible reffing performance. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.